Cleveland, and welcome back inside the studio. We've had a little break. I know you've still been watching ball. Maria Taylor alongside the Hall of Famers. Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, and Carmelo Anthony. Guys, you guys have had a lot of fun. Some of us have been making news, and we'll get to that later in the show.
Already?
But yeah, that guy right there. This one right, the cousin, okay? But we're going to start with the Detroit Pistons and what they have been able to do. And really, if you go back to them being down by 24 points against the Magic, but the last 5 games, this 5-game winning streak that they've been on, check this out. Increased their scoring by more than 10 points per game over that last 5 games, and they started the playoffs 1-3, have gotten more impressive, I feel like, as the postseason has gone along. Let's get into it, VC, and what you feel like has been changing and ultimately improving for the Pistons throughout this playoff.
We talk about the offense of the Pistons and what Cade Cunningham has done, but I think their defense has been their calling card all year, and it's done just that. They've been physical, they've been active with their hands, and they've made life miserable for James Harden and others. I mean, Evan Mobley, 1 rebound. Donovan Mitchell not shooting, great from the field as well. So they've stuck to the defense regardless of how great their offense have been. Their defense travels, and that's what they're going to need when they go into this building.
I tell you what, man, this young fella right here is amazing. Like, we look at his scoring, which is not his thing, but the effect that he has, the impact that he has on the game is like Cade on the offensive end. His defense and just his awareness, his imprint, and being everywhere, just being in the right spot, taking certain things away on the defensive side, rebounding, getting out in transition. He does so much for this team. You got to keep this guy on the court, because when he's on the court, Detroit does not lose, because all the things that he does to complement, whether it's Jaylen Brown, whether it's Cade Cunningham, he complements those guys so well. I love the way this guy's play. Despite his, deficiencies on the offensive end in terms of him being able to create his own shot, he does so many great things for this team that's winning plays.
I totally agree with both of y'all. I'm going to go with Unc. I'm going to go back to Unc.
Okay, go back to
Tobias. I just think, like, what he's doing in this series and just the playoffs, this postseason, is not being talked about enough, and his impact in Detroit. You talking about 7 straight 20-point games, and one number that kind of stick out to me, Tobias playing in 76 career playoff games without reaching a conference finals, right? So to me, he understands that. He gets that. It's embedded into his brain that he's out here trying to prove a point and establish himself as somebody who wants to get out of this round. So what he's been doing has been, fun to watch. His impact in Detroit, his impact on Cade Cunningham too, right? And just allowing Cade to just, stay composed and understand the game and understand, different points and times of the game. And also times when Cade needs to really slow down and understand what we need as a team, as a point guard. Tobias is there to kind of even that out for him.
Yeah, he's upped his regular season scoring. It was 13 points per game in the regular season, now 21 points per game in the postseason. So, certainly understanding the assignment. I want to spend a little bit more time on Cleveland, because obviously them playing at home is a big deal. They've played very well at home during the postseason. But it seems like it's very, Harden takes a turn, Mitchell takes a turn. I just want to know when they can, turn the corner together, or what would be required for them to maybe be a little bit more seamless offensively.
They need to be efficient and take care of the ball. That's what they need to do. And they need their big fellas, the tandem, their front court, to be abusing, in the interior, controlling the boards, being physical, because I told y'all, before this series, it was about these guys being soft as a team. And they displayed that in these 2 games. Evan Mobley, I had high hopes for him coming into this season. And in this series, I thought he will be somebody that can have an effect on winning. My guy, you can't have 1 rebound.
Yeah.
You can't do it, or you're going to be at home real soon. So for me, they have to do more. They have to be physical. Hit first. Like Pop say, show me some nasty. Where's the nasty at? Because Detroit, they found their identity, and they're playing that way. If you can't play that way, then you're going to be home real soon.
You went to Mobley. I'm going to go to James. And I know a lot of people is on James Harden. but you just cannot have 2 shots, 3 shots in the second half of a game 2.
Hold on. I would say he can unless he's distributing the ball where he has.
At a high number.
Yes, at a high number.
You know, his rate, yeah.
So to add on to that, he was 3 for 13, 10 points, 3 assists.
Yeah.
To me,
And Kenny Atkinson said, my Hall of Famer cannot only have 2 shots in the second.
No, he cannot have 2 shots. I don't care what's happening in the game. Donovan is giving everything that he can possibly give out there on the court. James have to be that. Again, we went back to why this trade was made. This trade was made for James Harden to come in here and help take Cleveland Cavaliers and get them over the hump. It's not happening. It's not looking like it. And I don't know what's... It seemed like something else is going on with James. I don't think it's basketball, because if it was just basketball, James could figure this out.
Yeah.
It seems like he's going through the motions. It's something else he's trying to figure out. Detroit, he's trying to figure out the defense. Or it might just be something that's going on with him, you know, mentally. I don't know if he's...
It's Detroit.
It's Asar Thompson.
It's just Detroit.
It's Cade.
I'm
That's
go
who
with
it
it.
is.
I don't know, because this is not
Melo.
James Harden that we know.
He's older, Mel.
He's not shooting 2 times in the second half.
But
It's just impossible
James,
for...
you know.
That happened last year, Mel. This is nothing new. This is not a new tale to the tape. But for me, I don't care if James shoot 2 times, but have an impact in terms of he was a great rebounder, right? He's a great facilitator. Why don't you get downhill and get guys involved? ISO James is gone. He can't, when you got a 6'8", right, 6'8", 6'7", strong, like you're not getting those calls no more. These guys can handle your physicality of what you used to do to players.
I agree.
He's not getting that off.
No.
So for me, it's not about dancing on the perimeter. Get off that pick and roll, get to it, because that's when he's turning the ball over.
He's not even doing that. This is what I'm saying.
That is a problem.
He's not even doing that. But you got to be aggressive. You got to hunt your shot. James is normally hunting his shots.
Yeah.
And to me, it seems like he's still trying to figure out what to do with Donovan Mitchell on the basketball court. And they just don't have time for that. And because of that, they're down 0-2 going back into their arena tonight.
They don't have time for that, but they haven't had time together. This is their 31st game together, VC. That's not a lot of time to get to the point where you're ready to take over a playoff series together.
You said, like, the 2 shots, you're okay with that and being the sister, but, like, you got to read the room sometimes. And I think when it gets down to, okay, my young fella's, like you said, giving everything he has, I got to give him some help, because I've been here before. Regardless of what the outcome has been, I've been here before to where I need to be aggressive. I think aggressive James Harden, you see here, he's trying to hunt the foul because that's what he's used to. I think, you know, James just needs to get rid of all of the extra dribbling and just get by guys. One dribble, like his first step is still, you know, can compete with a lot of the guys in this league. Get by a guy, you see here, playing with the ball. Get by a guy and just go to it and make plays for other guys. But I think they need, what the Pistons have done, they've taken away James's ability, his gift to making plays for the bigs, which you've always talked about how great he was with getting Evan Mobley going, getting Jared Allen going. That has gone away because of this.
And you know, another thing that, you know, component to this is James has always had the ball in his hands. So to take the ball out of his hands, because it's me, it's like, we don't want Donovan to initiate the offense. We need Donovan to score and off the ball.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to play Schroeder. I'm sorry. Like, Schroeder's going to have to play, and whether that's James on the bench or James on the perimeter off the ball, but we know he's not comfortable playing that way. But he's got to figure out how to play a different way, because ISO James is not going to get it done against these boys.
Turnovers is
it's
killing
a big
them.
problem. It's a very big problem.
Almost 17 a game.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot win. Like 20 in game 1, you cannot win no games when you're getting 20 turnovers in a game.
Yeah, and with the number 20, it's when your starting guards have almost half of those. That's a problem.
Yes.
James Harden in this series, -22, plus/minus, 11 turnovers, 9 made field goals, and just 10 assists. So that's what we're looking at here. But things that can all be turned around, by the way, in the course of this series, just down 2-0, and they haven't been home yet. This is an opportunity to change that narrative. All right, let's get into today's 76ers and the Knicks doing battle. And the Knicks, they're going to be playing without OG. So the question is, how will they handle it? The answer ended up being just fine. But Tyrese Maxey, they got going early. There's VJ. Sixers were feeling good at home.
That was back-to-back highlights right there.
It was.
At that point. Now another one.
Body. Man.
Great assist from Brunson. He had 9 assists.
Oh, that was nice. Nice dime. Nice dime.
Mikal, baby.
Your guy's back.
Mikal is
23
back.
points.
Oh, my.
The Knicks shot at 53% in the first half, guys.
Oubre had a nice game, though.
Oubre get the same buckets every time.
Yeah.
Backdoor
It looks
cut.
like the same
He's
highlight.
wide open every time.
Oubre had 22 points. He actually led the 76ers. Brunson had 33 points. That's a game high.
I don't know if Philly is just looking this bad or New York
The Knicks
has
is
really
looking that
figured
good.
something out.
I think New York has figured it out.
They look
I think they have.
amazing,
That's
bro.
the 6th straight win for New York.
You know
and
who
by
else
the way,
figured it out?
Who?
Spurs.
The Spurs? I don't.
Go,
I mean, the
Spurs,
team looks
go!
good. Wemby has certainly figured out, guys. Ant-Man 13 points in the first quarter, including that buzzer beater.
But I mean, this guy is finding his confidence, but the Spurs defense has made it
You're right.
tough for Ant to really find his rhythm.
Yeah. Listen, this game was tied up at 51
Jules?
at halftime.
Who said Wemby can't get punched on?
It was not Julius Randle. He did not say that, okay?
Can't leave him open.
Wemby knocking out his first of 3 second-half threes.
Effort.
Okay?
That is Wemby, the best player on the floor.
No big deal. No big deal. 5 blocks in this game, by the way. 4th game these playoffs with at least 5 blocks.
39 and 15, 5 blocks
Come on.
on the road
What are we talking about?
in the swing game.
What are we talking about? The
Gotta
4th
get up.
player with at least 35 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks in a playoff game.
feel
It's
like
Shaq, Kareem, and Hakeem.
I
Who's
feel
done
like
it?
Wemby sometimes we in the paint blocking those shots. He got a built-in crane where it stretches him out a little bit.
He shot 72%, bro.
Okay, guys, by the way, Game 4 between the Spurs and the Timberwolves in Minnesota will be tomorrow night on NBC and Peacock. Our coverage will start with the pregame show at 7 p.m. Eastern. San Antonio currently holding the 2-1 lead in the series. All right, we talked about Duncan Robinson being a sharpshooter, knocking down 5 threes for the Pistons. I love it. We're going with the chords today. You guys, are we doing chords again, guys?
I guess today.
We're done with Bluetooth?
I do both.
Today we doing chords.
Okay, yeah, because Mello did show up with the AirPod in his ear. We had to get it off right before we came on air, just so you guys know. We have had a little bit of Celtics news throughout the week. It came from the Cousins podcast, the man who stirred up the past 2 seasons, but they have not made it past the East semis. Now, one bright spot for the team, Jaylen Brown, who averaged a career-high 28.7 points per game so far this season. And the Celtics president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens, met with the media on Wednesday and talked about JB.
Brad, Jaylen has expressed a lot of frustration in the immediate aftermath of the loss. And Tracy McGrady came out today or yesterday. Obviously, Tracy's close with Jaylen and said Jaylen has some frustrations with the organization. Have you felt any of those frustrations? Has he expressed them to you? Is the relationship with Jaylen, has that evolved at all?
I talked to Jaylen Monday a little bit after he just real quickly and was nothing but positive. He has not expressed those frustrations to me. We've been here 10 years together, and I do think that, you know, obviously I love JB and everybody around here loves JB. And, you know, I think just like any of our other guys, as we get to the end of the season, you know, I'll be here and my door's always open. And if anybody ever wants to come in and talk about it and talk about, you know, their team, their place, whatever the case may be, I'm all ears. And that would be 1 through 16, not just, you know, not just Jaylen, not just Jason, not just the guys that have been here. I think it's really important to be available. So I certainly am, and none of that has been expressed to me. So.
All right, so we wanted to bring this back to the forefront. Obviously, the media member who asked the question invoked your name, Tracy. So we wanted to give you a chance. He's speaking to the comments that you made on the Cousins podcast. So one, if you could summarize those, but also give us perspective from where you were speaking to JB and the frustration comments from.
Right. So because I have a relationship with Jaylen, I know him and I know how he acts, right? So watching this series, how it unfolds, watching the behavior change and uncharacteristics of who I know Jaylen is. So it looked like he was frustrated to me when you go into the media and you say some of the things that he said, when he go on his streaming platform and say some of those things. This is me having a relationship with him. This is not me, you know, having a conversation. I haven't talked to Jaylen at all about this. I just know my friend, And when I see certain things, I see frustration. So after a 3-1 loss, right, to the Philadelphia 76ers, all this stuff is happening, and I'm seeing what I'm seeing because I have a relationship with him. And I think people really not knowing I'm part of the media, right? So if I see something, I'm going to speak about it. And I think they haven't separated my friendship versus me being an analyst, right, in talking about this. So it was nothing that we had a conversation about. It's the things that I'm seeing my friend and what he's displaying in front of the media. And when you go into the press conference and you're talking about, you know, everything that transpires, when you say you find out 45 minutes in the game 7 that JT wasn't playing, as a player, I'm going to be frustrated about that.
Yeah.
When you look at the roster or the lineup that was rolled out in a game 7, as a player, I'm going to be frustrated with that. And that's me speaking. So I don't know if y'all feel will have that same sentiment if your coach, the organization comes to you and say one of your guys, your main guy, is not playing 45 minutes before a game 7. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it would be if it took that long to come to a final decision if I'm going to play or not. But if everybody knew and I didn't know and you let me know 45 minutes before, then now, as the guy who got to go out there and lead that, I'm going to feel the way. But if nobody knew, you know what I mean, and it just happened 45 minutes before, then I'm cool with that too. To me, when I hear Joe Mazzulla presser, when I hear Brad Stevens presser, to me, that's two different kind of ways of thinking. Joe Mazzulla is with the process and going through this and trying to figure this out. With Brad, he got to win. He wanted to win right now. He said in his own presser that, listen, something got to give. We can't shoot like that. We can't not be able to penetrate the gaps and score the basketball. Yeah, we could do everything else, but there's certain things that we as a team have to address. And I think this offseason, it's going to be some big conversations. Everybody got to sit down and really try to figure this out. You have cap space. You have room to make some moves. You have to make moves. You know, you said JB is not frustrated. You said JT is. They all good. So let's figure that out, and let's get this roster situated.
It just sounds like to me a discussion, a roundtable discussion of the three of them, you know, Brad Stevens and JT and JB, or just, well, first and foremost, JB and Brad Stevens, I think, need to have that conversation. Are we good? Where are we? What do we need to do? What does the future look like? And I think you go from there, because I feel like we've seen JT and JB have had a conversation just to kind of ease the tension for playing. Now we need to, I think that conversation needs to be had. And I mean, we say that, some people are like, oh, no, he shouldn't have to. Well, yeah, at this point, I think that conversation needs to be had just for the good of the organization, not to appease us, but I think the organization to figure out, like you said, what direction are we going to?
But another thing, let's not act like his frustration is new. Like, he came on our show, and I've held this for years. When he came to the house voicing that he was at a crisis, right? And I had that conversation with him about staying with JT, and they ultimately won a championship. But nobody knew he came to my house and we had that discussion. He came on this platform and said that. So for everybody to go crazy because I came out and said he's frustrated with organization, no, that's based off of what I'm seeing from my friend.
Yeah, and also, again, like you said earlier, not too many people know your relationship with him. Not too many people know the conversations that you have with him, be it good or bad, and really trying to help him figure this out. This is a new situation for Jaylen. Even though he's a champion, this is a new situation for him.
But my point to that is, if I'm having a conversation with JB about his future, that is staying between us.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think people took what I said
as
is like
we had
like that came from JB.
Good point. That's a
I
great
didn't
point.
have a conversation with JB. Like I said, I'm seeing his behavior in the first round against Philly. I'm seeing the frustration. I'm listening to the comments. I'm seeing him go on his live stream. That's where I'm getting my information from, just like everybody else. And I made a statement. Yeah, my brother is frustrated with the organization based off of what I'm seeing. That's not a conversation I had with him. I would never. You guys won't know. You guys won't know what we're talking about. I promise you that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the transparency, open and honesty, and just clearing it up in general. That was not the wave, and obviously, people have 24-hour shows, so they have to talk about something. You can, and honestly, if y'all want to check it out, where we YouTube? Where we gonna find the cousins at? YouTube? Where you stream your podcast at? All the streaming platforms, okay? If you need something to talk about, they got you.
Come check us out. Unpredictable.
Let's take a look at today's Star Player Parlay from DraftKings Sportsbook. For today's game in Cleveland, you need 25 points from Donovan Mitchell, 7 rebounds from Tobias Harris, and 3 made threes from Duncan Robinson. We buying in? What we got? What we got? This you? This you, Melo? He doesn't want to. You don't want to.
I don't think Mel like that one.
Which
one you don't like, Mel?
What is it that's concerning you? This is not mine today.
It's the 7 rebounds. Are you concerned about the 7 rebounds?
Tobias will get 7.
And now the guys who are going to call Game 3 with the Pistons up 2-0. We got Noah Eagle, Grant Hill, and Robbie Hummel. Guys, how do you see it from sitting courtside?
Well, we see it right now that Rocket Arena is going to have to be exactly that, rocking here this afternoon, because the Cavaliers have been great at home this postseason. In fact, they haven't lost at home, but they also haven't won on the road. And so for Cleveland, it feels like they've got a little extra confidence. And normally you say that the series doesn't start until the road team wins. It feels like in this case, it has to be the home team that has to start the series today.
Well, 100%. Cleveland, they're going to have to really step up and play better. There's been a theme during this series thus far. Cleveland digs a hole in the first quarter, works hard to get back in it, and they don't close strong down the stretch. But they're going to need to get off to a good start, and their stars have to be stars. They have to be the best players in the fourth quarter. That's Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden has to play better as well.
He's talking about stars, and Robbie, it always feels like the hardest jump to take is from player to all-star to eventually superstar. But Cade Cunningham, right in front of our eyes, is turning into that.
And speaking of the fourth quarter, he's been the best player in this series in these fourth quarters. He's been phenomenal all playoff series long, but he's getting a good amount of help. Even though Duren has had his struggles, how good has Duncan Robinson been? How good has Tobias Harris been? How about Dennis Jenkins? They've had a bunch of guys really step forward. The defense has been consistent, but the shooting for Detroit, 14 made threes in game 2. We'll see if that travels here on the road. What's going to be a tough environment this afternoon.
Tough environment. Cleveland's going to have to play into it as much as they possibly can. They've got to find a way to get into this series, make it 2-1, and not fall down to that deadly 3-0 disadvantage. We'll see what happens. Tip off straight ahead, guys.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Have an excellent call. That's going to be game 1 of our playoff slate. That tip-off is set for about 3:12 Eastern time in Cleveland. And then our slate's going to continue later tonight, though. You get SGA and the Thunder. They will be taking on the Lakers. They've got a 2-0 lead, but they're headed to LA. That coverage of that game will start at 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Now, listen to this. Through 2 games so far, 35 fouls have been called on OKC during the Western Conference semifinals compared to 42 fouls that have been called on the Lakers during the series. Lakers head coach J.J. Redick shared his thoughts on the officiating through the first 2 games of the West semis.
JJ, you got a technical in the first half. Multiple players had really long, extended conversations with refs. What was sort of at the core of those frustrations tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I sarcastically said the other day they were the most disruptive team without fouling. I mean, they have a few guys that foul on every possession, and all the good defenses do. You know, SGA gets like I don't even know, a touch foul, I guess, on a drive. There was a stretch where 4 straight possessions, our guys got absolutely clobbered trying to make an entry pass to Jackson, and Jalen Williams is grabbing his jersey with both arms. That's a turn. Like, they're hard enough to play. They're hard enough to play. You've got to be able to just call it if they foul, and they do foul.
Along those lines, I mean, LeBron has, I think, taken 5 free throws here in 2 games. Have you seen him be like attacking and downhill? And are you surprised he hasn't been able to get to the line more?
Well, he gets clobbered on that one. You know, with Jalen Williams coming over trying to block the shot when he spun baseline on Dort. That was in that stretch as well. LeBron has the worst whistle of any star player I've ever seen. I mean, I've been with him 2 years now. You know, there's, again, the smaller guys, because they can be theatric, they typically draw more fouls, and the bigger players that are, you know, built like LeBron, it's hard for them. But he gets clobbered, and he got clobbered again tonight a bunch. But that's not like a new thing. That's not specific to this crew or, you know, this series. He gets fouled a lot. That doesn't happen. I mean, guy gets hit on the head more than any player I've seen on drives, and it rarely gets called. So.
JJ Redick frustrated might be an understatement, but what do we make of his comments about the officiating and LeBron James having the worst whistle that he's ever seen and a guy that he's coached so far in his young career?
I can see why it gets frustrating. I mean, as a player I was a physical player. I was somebody who seeked out the contact. And a lot of times I used to get frustrated thinking that I was getting fouled and they wasn't calling it. That's just the nature of the game. For LeBron, he's big, he's strong, he's active, he's fast, and you don't know what's the fine line, right, between a foul or him presenting a foul. So that's one thing. Also, another thing, OKC is a very, very, very good defensive team. And when you talk about not creating fouls, they don't foul. They don't create fouls. On paper, they don't create fouls. This is what type of team they are. So when you have a team like that going up against an offense who's trying to do everything that they can do, LeBron and JJ, we spoke about this, Mac, they're doing an incredible job of just strategizing the game planning. They just don't have enough right now for OKC. OKC understands we can foul, we can play aggressive. They're not going to call it the whole game. If they call it early, they might not call it late. They're going to play the same way. So it's frustrating for, the Lakers, again, who's trying everything and throwing everything at OKC and feel like they're not getting the calls.
It's not much that I can say. There's a comment that you made off camera that I'll let you say, but you said it's their turn. But I'll let you elaborate more on that. But I agree. This is a very good defensive team with the hit-first mindset. And they make sure they touch. They touch the players. They make sure no easy drives. And that comes with it. And when you've built that all season long, the referees kind of understand that. Now, a foul is a foul, and I agree with JJ on that. And some calls that they don't get, they feel like, I think that's the frustration, is that the calls that someone like Shea, like he said, that is getting, LeBron's not getting, that's not even close to that type of foul. So, yeah, I mean, but that's the passion, and that's the passion of JJ too. He's a former player. He's very passionate. He'll say what he has to say, and he'll do whatever. He's a player's coach. He'll do whatever he needs to do to get his point across. But like, it's just, we played against some superstars like Kobe. Yeah. MJ understood what they can get away with. Yeah. And they know how far to go before it becomes blatant.
So, OKC, I think, is a very physical defensive team, and you alluded to it. I think what they do, they establish themselves first, right out the gates, on how they want to play, and that's being physical. And I think you, as a referee, you understand that this is how they play. This is their identity, and you can't call all the fouls. But when you're the champs, you get a little bit more. When you're the champs, you get a little bit more leeway. And this has been going on for such a long time. Go back to Shaq. Like, Shaq was like LeBron. I felt like if somebody that size, that aggressive, should be shooting 12 to 15 free throws a night. Right, that is a given because of the style of play. Felt like Melo was a guy that should be at the top of leading in free throw shooting because of how they play.
I played with Dwight, the same thing. Right, that was our frustration. We felt every time he got the ball in the paint, he was probably getting fouled.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to decipher what.
Right. Yeah, you're typically going to get away. You being a great team, you're going to get away with a lot of stuff. I remember in our Dallas series in 05 against the Mavericks, Jeff Van Gundy had one of the biggest fines in NBA history. I think somebody has overturned that, but he had one of the biggest fines in NBA history because he were talking and complaining about how the refs was reffing against Yao Ming, which he was getting in foul trouble every single game. I don't know if it was a defender.
That's for a Cousins podcast. We'll leave that over there. Do you guys subscribe to the idea that officiating changes throughout the playoffs or in certain games? Like, how do you guys measure that as players who have been through that as Hall of Famers have?
From my experience, it does. I think the referees are locked into points of emphasis going into the playoffs. I think they study just like everybody else study. They look at the game, they look at the season, they say, okay, this team is a physical team, so we're going to give them some leeway to play physical, but we're not going to let them go too far. And I just think this series, the Lakers, OKC, because they the champs, right? They're going to get away with some little fouls here, some grabs that the average team is just not going to get.
I would say this: the Lakers can get away with that tonight.
You think so?
Yeah, because JJ put everybody
all
on
out
notice.
there.
So tonight, it's the Lakers' turn to go out there and be physical and play that way.
This is mental warfare.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's exactly what this
JJ know what he's doing. JJ know what he's doing.
Oh, guys, listen, SGA said the way that basketball works, the more physical team that imposes their will is the team that gets the win. That's what OKC is always trying to be, and they'll be looking to take a 3-0 lead in LA against LeBron. Avs have been much better at Rocket Arena than they have been on the road so far this postseason. The Cavaliers a perfect 4-0 at home these playoffs compared to 0-5 away. And in Cleveland, Evan Mobley caught up with Ashley Shomedy a little bit earlier this afternoon.
All right, Evan, you guys have protected home court thus far in the postseason. And in the last 2 games against Detroit, you guys have had chances to close it out in the clutch. What has to change to be able to do that for Game 3 tonight?
I think we just all have to be on the same page, stay connected defensively and then offensively as well. I think we just got to get back to playing our brand of basketball.
For you personally, Evan, do you feel like the Pistons' pressure defensively has limited your game a little bit? How do you need to maybe adjust accordingly?
Yeah, we just got to win our spots. They've been trying to be aggressive with us, so we got to be more aggressive with them. So I think that starts defensively, and then offensively just getting out in transition and running.
Down 0-2 in this series, obviously still a lot of game left to play. Can you just walk me through the mindset that you have, knowing the importance of this one and trying to shift the momentum back on your side?
Mindset is just win these next 2 home ones, tie the series back up.
All right, Evan, thanks so much. Good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right, appreciate it, Ashley and Evan. Before the game tips off in Cleveland, don't you forget to set your Peacock scorecard. You can choose from stars like Evan Mobley, who you just heard from. Just pick your card and follow along on the Peacock app. Listen, the Detroit Pistons, they are up 2-0 right now because of great performances from Cade Cunningham, 1, but also guys like Danis Jenkins who have been able to step up in the clutch, T-Mac.
Oh, Danis Jenkins, man, when you talking about trying to win a series, you need multiple guys playing well, and this guy has been unbelievable, averaging 14. You see him with the in and out on the big boy. Get that floater up over him. Right here, just reading the defense, get that pick from Jaylen Brown, probing a little bit, staying patient, having vision, great pass right there, getting the big man an easy one. Right here is just playing defense, right? Getting in front, being aggressive, having vision, getting out, getting that ball up the court. Another one, 6 seconds on the clock. We want to get it to our best player. Well, he pulls a lot of gravity. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stay ready and knock down that shot, close out the quarter. That's what you need from guys coming off your bench. This guy's been unbelievable, averaging 14, 45% from the field, but shooting 46 from the 3.
That one right there.
And he's
right
averaging 5-6 rebounds over the 3-game span. Keep it up, young fella. You're doing your thing. I smell money.
I feel like one of the best things that happened to Danis Jenkins, by the way. Not a great thing for Detroit, but the 11-game absence of Cade Cunningham with the collapsed lung, his opportunity to be a starter and what he was able to do during that time frame builds the confidence. Remember, this is a guy that played at 4 different colleges, ended up in St. John's with Rick Pitino, but he certainly found a great spot, a landing spot in Detroit.
Well, playing for Rick Pitino, you're going to learn how to play because you don't have a choice.
Okay.
But it's all about the process, being patient, put your head down, getting your work done, and just listening and taking advantage of your opportunity when it is presented to you, and he has done that. That first game he came out, I think he was on our show because of the big game he had, and he continued to just build and build and build. Now he's a part of their rotation. No, now he's a huge point of part of what they do.
But a part of that is JB trusted him during the regular season to fill that role when Cade came out, when he went out, right? So he got his feet wet and was able to lead that team, and he did a phenomenal job of doing that and holding the fort down. Now he's trusting into this lineup, and he's holding his part down. With Cade being out of the game, him holding that down really gives Cade a lot of time to rest and be ready to close out games in the fourth quarter.
All right, speaking of holding the fort down, I feel like a fort has been built around James Harden, and he has struggled to figure out what is going on with the Detroit Pistons defense. VC, can you walk us through what they're doing to frustrate
I hate
James
to beat
Harden?
a dead horse. Like you said, 11 turnovers. He's averaging 5.5 assists. You see here, they're boxing him in. No, you're not coming off the pick and roll. We're going to put you down towards the baseline. Now we're just going to make you fight, use our active hands. you see this active hands, which creates their fast break and their transition opportunity. Another one, we're not letting you go where you want. We're dictating where you go. You see here, just active hands being aggressive. They have him hesitant, pulling up, which is now leading to easy transition buckets because of it. They don't have to run a half court because of their defense here. Just great individual defense. They kind of have him shook. He sees 4 guys in his vision. He's pulling out. He's hesitant. Now, there's the help side defense. He's dribbling into traffic. Turnover. Here's another one. They've had him so shook to where they're not even playing great. I mean, it wasn't even do anything special.
That was
it's just
Robertson right
well,
there.
Now he's just pushing the issue a little bit, just trying to find opportunities to try to beat the defense because he doesn't want to play against a set defense turning the thing over.
I would say this to James, just settle down, right, and just simplify the game for yourself and your team. I think trying to do too much and be who you were in the past, being an ISO James and create those opportunities like that, I think that has bypassed you because of who you're going up against. So it's changing your game. It's changing the way you play, and that's just keeping it simple.
Well, you rudely cut me off, but he's shooting 32% for the field. What up, boy? From the field and 10% from 3. So not only is he turning the ball over, just not shooting a great percentage because they have him playing faster than he wants to.
I wouldn't be your little cousin if I didn't.
Appreciate it.
I feel like you guys are both rudely cutting Melo off. You have not let him speak at all.
Trust me, he doesn't
Have you been able to say anything so far?
He's like, the conversation's so good, just let them have it.
Melo, I would like you to enter the group chat and join us.
What would you
here.
like for me to say?
You know,
ask me the question.
Okay, I would like to get into someone other than Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. We spent a lot of the first segment of the show talking about them. We talked about the bigs. We heard from Evan Mobley. He's averaging 11 points per game during the playoffs right now. And it seems like he's struggling a little bit. During the regular season, he was averaging 18. I just wonder, like, what are the shifts that could be made to get the bigs involved and have them actually be very impactful in Game 3?
Well, you said we can't talk about James no more, but if James take care of the basketball, then it puts Evan Mobley in a position to be successful. That's one thing. I said I had a stat for y'all.
Please read the stat.
This is what got me. Cleveland is outscored by 51 points with Evan Mobley on the court in this postseason. Like, that number right there is
alarming.
Oh, my God.
That's alarming.
To me, he has to be the guy who steps up today. He has to be the difference in this Game 3. We can put it on James. We can put it on Donovan. But if Evan Mobley is not the difference maker today, then Detroit is going up 3-0 today.
Specifically, yes, he's been struggling in this series. I mean, what has it been that Detroit's been doing defensively then against them? What have you seen?
I mean, just being physical, right? That's who they are. That's who Jaylen Brown is. It's them being physical, putting a body on them, boxing them out, making sure they take away their strength. And they're not being able to, you know, overcome that. So hopefully at home they have confidence playing in front of their home crowd and they get behind them and they show a difference.
And you were talking about establishing yourself. Early. Game 1, Jaylen Brown established himself as being physical and got Jared Allen 3 quick fouls. And I think that's something that's been in their mind the entire series since.
Well, I'm going to tell you something else that's been in their mind. JB has coached James Harden. In 15, 16 seasons, he understands James Harden.
Who else did he coach?
Cleveland.
Who else did he coach?
We ain't got enough time to go through it.
All of them.
He knows their tendencies.
That's a great point,
All of them.
That's a great point,
Yes,
man.
JB's been there, done that. Now he's rolling with the Pistons, up 2-0 against Cleveland. Detroit, just 2 wins away from making it to their first